Hey ANPers, this is Dr. Jones checking in. This is ANP1, Lecture Test 5, Video 8, covering page 10 of the Noteset. And I think we're at a part where we can go back to a video per page of the Noteset. So let's do that. So we talked in the previous video about the neuroglia in the central nervous system. There were 4 of them. The neuroglia in the peripheral nervous system are completely different, and there are 2 of them. Okay, so we've got satellite cells and Schwann cells, and double check the spelling because it is different than the Schwann truck. So if you spell it like the Schwann truck, you will get it wrong on the lab test. So first question, what is a ganglia? A ganglia is a cluster of neuron somas in the peripheral nervous system. There are 2 types of ganglia that we talk about. We talk about the sensory ganglia and the autonomic ganglia. 2 types of PNS neuroglia are the satellite cells and the Schwann cells, SCHWANN. Second, I gotta tickle. Am I gonna sneeze? Am I not gonna sneeze? Is it just gonna tickle for a while? Crisis averted. All right, funny faces for the win. My 14-year-old makes this face, and it's like this, but like his nostrils take up like half of his face, and every time he makes that face, like my heart says really loudly, "You're never gonna have grandchildren." Like, that's a lot of nostril, kid. That's, wow. It's a little scary. So, we have an ongoing joke about his nostrils. Okay. So, let's talk about the satellite cells and the Schwann cells. Satellite cells first. They are the first set of neuroglia in the peripheral nervous system, and they surround the somas and regulate the nutrients and wastes. So they're found in the ganglia, because where else are you going to find somas in the peripheral nervous system? Nowhere except in ganglia. Okay, satellite cells. And then the Schwann cells form the myelin sheath in the peripheral nervous system. The neurolemma is the outer edge of the Schwann cell. So like there's Schwann cells like all cell membrane wrapped around and around and around and around and around. But only this outer edge of it is neurolemma. If this were like a pancake wrapped around a breakfast sausage, it would be not all the edges of the pancake, but just the outer superficial edges of the pancake that you could pour syrup on. And when I say syrup, I mean the good syrup, maple syrup, not the high fructose corn syrup crap. All right. And the myelin sheath in the peripheral nervous system is made of Schwann cells, and the myelin sheath in the central nervous system is made of, oligodendrocytes. I've told you all that story, haven't I? I think I told you that story. I think we can move on. All right, so in cases of injury, yeah, we do have that divided down. Okay, so when there is an injury, so this part that's closer to the neuron is the distal part. And then further all down is the proximal part. And so this, where it's broken, either cut or smushed, are called the stumps. So there's the distal stump is here, and the proximal stump is here. Okay, now that we've got that. The steps. All right, number 1 is the fragmentation of the axon and the myelin. And did I just do all of that backwards? Tell me I didn't just, I just did all of that backwards. Is that the second time I've done them backwards in the videos? That's funny. Wah, wah. Fail. Okay. Distal is towards the digits. Proximal is closer. That's why y'all were looking at me funny. See, in person, y'all be like, Dr. Jones. And then the one funny person would be like, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. Okay, so the proximal stump stays. The distal stump dissolves. Like it just fragments, breaks up, goes away, it gets eaten. The phagocytes eat it. And then, step 2, the Schwann cells form a cellular cord of Schwann cells. And at the same time, the proximal stump of the axon starts growing out, not straight forward, but it doesn't know where it's going. So it grows out three-dimensionally in all directions until it meets this cellular cord of Schwann cells. Number 3, the axon grows along the cord. So once they touch, then the axon just follows the cord back to what it was innervating before. And step 4, the axon grows into the distal stump and is myelinated. So when you cut a nerve, it's a crapshoot whether it regrows in the right direction or not. It may be that the injury is too bad and that the cord of Schwann cells and the proximal stump never meet, in which case you've just lost your innervation to that area. Sensation, motor control, both, whichever it is. And sometimes it grows to a different spot. But the first, when you've lost sensation, the first sensation that returns is pain. And so if something's dead and then it starts to hurt, the doctor's like, yay, because that means that it's regrowing and that the nerve has connected back to the right area, which is frustrating when they're happy that you're in pain. But it is a good sign that the nerves are growing back to the right spot. That's why so many times after nerve injuries, the official take from the doctors is, let's wait and see, because there's no way to know until it happens or it doesn't. So it's frustrating. So how do the Schwann cells assist in injury repair in the peripheral nervous system? They form a cellular cord. Right here. Cord. And what are the complications of injury repair in the central nervous system? Okay, way more axons. And the astrocytes are jerks. Okay, 2 things the astrocytes do. Now, 1, they produce scar tissue, which gets in the way of regrowth. And 2, they release a chemical that blocks axon regrowth. Okay, so astrocytes are jerks. Plus, there's lots more axons. Everything's just more complicated. One of the neighbors is shooting. That's why the dog's all fussy. All right, so next, resting membrane potential. Let's see if that's the next picture. There it is. Okay, this is an old version of the picture. I don't think this picture is in the book anymore. So the resting membrane potential is the membrane potential, or what I call the transmembrane potential, because that's what it was in the previous version up to this one. The transmembrane potential of a resting cell. And then the graded potential is local, and it's due to chemically gated ion channels. And the action potential propagates, which means it sweeps down the membrane. and it is due to voltage-gated ion channels. We'll come back to all of that in the next video. So this has been ANP1, Lecture Test 5, video I've forgotten already, 8, covering page 10. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It's good to virtually see you here. And, yeah, we'll leave it at that. So, and study lab. There we go. Have a good one. Dr. J.